It was the night before her birthday. 26, and still the same whirlwind she'd always been. Wild, magnetic, impossible to ignore. Vanessa. My younger sister. My opposite. Where I was quiet, she was fire. Where I measured, she leapt. But that night, something changed. Not in her. In me. Ever had your blood betray you for the one person who made you feel seen? Then you already know this isn't a story about heartbreak. It's about the slow burn of becoming someone they'll never forget. Subscribe because the fire's just beginning. Because that was the night she didn't come home. She said she was meeting friends. Said she'd be back by midnight. I waited, more from habit than worry. Vanessa was unpredictable, but never reckless. Not with me. We shared a loft apartment, had for years. First out of convenience, then comfort, then codependence neither of us would admit. We weren't just sisters. We were history. And then came Nathan. He was mine first. No matter how the story twists, how she frames it, I met him first. We dated for 11 months. It wasn't perfect, but it was real. Or I thought it was. He was gentle, brilliant, loved old novels, and hated attention. The kind of man who notices when you stop wearing your favorite perfume. The kind who sends flowers not on anniversaries but on Tuesdays, just because. He met Vanessa at a dinner. 2 weeks later, she started wearing lipstick I used to own. 3 weeks later, he started pulling away. The night she didn't come home, I felt something cold settle into my chest. I called. No answer. I texted. Nothing. I fell asleep on the couch, phone in hand. By morning, I knew. I knew before I opened Instagram and saw her story. Vanessa, in his apartment, drinking the wine I once introduced him to. She tagged no one. But I knew the space. I knew the way his leather couch curved in the corner, the navy blanket, the skyline through his window. It was Nathan's home, and she had stolen it. By noon, she came back. No apologies. No explanations. Just a shower, a casual laugh, and the smell of his cologne under her jacket. I didn't confront her. I didn't ask. Because I was no longer confused. And when you remove confusion from betrayal, what you're left with is clarity. And clarity is how revenge begins. The invitation never came. Not by text. Not by post. Not even by mistake. But I heard about it, of course. Whispers drifted through mutual friends like slow poison. People hesitated to tell me outright, afraid it would reopen wounds they believed had scabbed over. But they didn't know me. The wound was never healing, because it was never closed. I found out on a Wednesday afternoon, while picking up dry cleaning. The attendant, a sweet woman who never learned discretion, smiled as she folded Vanessa's dress into a garment bag. "Your sister's engagement dress is stunning," she said. "He's a lucky man." I didn't flinch. I didn't ask who he was, because I already knew. Nathan. My Nathan. No, her Nathan now. They were getting married. There would be champagne, flashbulbs, curated joy, and guests clinking glasses to a love built on the quiet bones of my silence. But I didn't cry. Not even when I saw the photos. Not even when she wore the ring I helped him choose, back when he whispered that he couldn't imagine proposing without me. She had it all now. The man. The story. The spotlight. What she didn't have, what she never would, was the truth. And I had every piece of it. She never asked me to come. She told everyone I was traveling for work, that I was so happy for her, that I was finally over it. But what she didn't know was that while she was raising toasts and cutting cake, I was watching from afar, with screenshots, receipts, and messages he forgot to delete. I wasn't hurt anymore. I was building a plan. A quiet, methodical undoing of everything she believed was permanent. Because love taken by betrayal never lasts. But revenge rooted in patience? That becomes legacy. Tickets were booked. Santorini, 5-star villa, private chef. I saw the itinerary. Not because she showed me, but because Nathan's assistant sent it to my old email by mistake. A ghost of my past life, still quietly haunting their future. They were supposed to leave the morning after the wedding. But they never got on that plane. Because the night of the ceremony, while Vanessa basked in compliments, paraded in lace and borrowed luxury, Nathan received a message. Anonymous, but thorough. Inside, transcripts of chats, screenshots, a timeline, bank transfers, hotel receipts, proof that his new wife had been with someone else. Not recently. During their engagement. While they planned floral arrangements and seating charts, she'd been sleeping with a gallery owner from Venice Beach, a man she once swore was just a friend. He confronted her that night. Not loudly, not theatrically, just enough for the truth to split through the facade. She cried. She denied. She blamed the timing. She said it meant nothing. But Nathan, my Nathan, finally saw what I had seen too late. That her love wasn't love. It was leverage. It was image. It was need dressed in beauty and deceit. He didn't leave her. Not yet. But the honeymoon? Cancelled. He needed space, he told her. But what he didn't tell her, what she still doesn't know, was that he called me. He didn't say much. Just that he was sorry. That he knew now. That he wished he'd seen it sooner. You were the one who told me she hides the worst of herself in smiles, he said. And you were the one who loved me without needing an audience. I didn't forgive him. But I didn't hang up either. Because forgiveness isn't always an act of mercy. Sometimes, it's the fuse you light before everything you buried finally burns. She looked nothing like a bride when she knocked. Hair in a loose knot, mascara smeared at the corners, an oversized sweatshirt instead of silk. I didn't open the door at first. I watched her through the peephole, watched her shift her weight, fidget, hesitate. The woman who once stole a man with a glance now stood like a girl caught sneaking out after curfew. Eventually, I opened it. Just enough. Not for forgiveness. For the performance. We need to talk, she said, her voice low. We really don't, I replied. She stepped forward anyway. Not across the threshold, just closer, like she still believed proximity could sway memory. She didn't start with an apology. She started with justification. It wasn't supposed to happen. You were always too careful. He needed someone passionate. I almost laughed. And now? She bit her lip, looked down. Her hands were shaking. He left. 2 nights ago. He didn't even fight. Just walked out. That's what honesty feels like, I said. No drama. Just distance. She blinked. Something inside her cracked. She begged then. Not for him. For me. You're my sister. I lost him. I can't lose you too. But she already had. Not when she seduced him. Not even when she flaunted it. But when she rewrote our bond as a stepping stone to her own story, one where I was a footnote. Sisters don't erase each other. They hold mirrors. And the reflection she gave me? I broke it. Quietly. Carefully. Permanently. I didn't slam the door. I closed it slowly. Let her see my face as it disappeared behind the frame. Let her hear the silence that followed. Because rage fades. But silence? That echoes. She found it 6 months later, long after the headlines faded and the whispers died out. Tucked inside a manila envelope, slipped into her mailbox with no return address. It wasn't a threat, not a warning, just a letter, folded once, neat, clean, final. My handwriting. She'd know it anywhere. And she opened it alone. Not in the company of friends who once applauded her ambition. Not beside Nathan, who had since vanished into a quiet, private life, one she no longer had access to. She opened it in silence and read, "Vanessa, I thought you took everything. But what you really did was show me what I had never truly seen. You didn't love him. You loved that I loved him. And when that faded, so did your purpose. I could have fought you, could have screamed, demanded, begged. But I watched instead. Because I knew you would do what you always do, destroy what you can't become. I didn't take Nathan back. I took back myself. And while you were performing for a future built on lies, I was building one in truth.
Keep the dress. Keep the stories.
But remember this, you didn't just lose a man. You lost the only person who would have stayed when everyone else finally saw who you really were. That's the price of betrayal. Not loneliness. Irrelevance." She didn't respond. She couldn't. What would she say? The sister she thought she defeated hadn't just survived. She had evolved. Without noise, without vengeance, without a single word until the end. And the end was all hers. Then, the most devastating revenge isn't fire. It's rebuilding without them and making sure they live long enough to watch.
Subscribe.
Because survival is only the beginning. Power comes after.